Did the Las Vegas Raiders possibly ruin their chances of securing a top draft pick this year in the 2026 NFL Draft?
Oh no, this can't be.
The latest news is that quarterback Geno Smith is expected to not make the start on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles. It is reported that Geno Smith is suffering some type of shoulder injury and is trending towards backup quarterback Kenny Pickett to make the start for the Raiders. Now, I don't know about you guys, I am definitely very excited to see somebody else at the quarterback position besides Geno Smith. I feel like we've already seen enough, and not gonna lie, just a lot of these weeks has just been absolutely brutal watching him play quarterback with the Raiders.
Downs, it looks like great. But each time they have some kind of a positive play, something happened on the back end.
But I will say, given the circumstances, given the Raiders' current situation, to me it is definitely the best case scenario that they go ahead and just lose out this year. At this point, winning the game would be meaningless, especially considering the fact that there's a good chance Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, and a lot of players on this roster probably won't even be here next season. So to me, the best case scenario is the Raiders go ahead and lose out this season, finish with a 2-15 overall record, and overall get the #1 draft pick. To me, that'll give us the best opportunity to rebuild this thing. And not gonna lie, I do think having Kenny Pickett out there at the quarterback spot increases our chances a little bit when it comes to winning a game. And at this stage of the game, it could be detrimental if the Raiders decided to mess around and win one of these final games. Now, I will say, I feel like the Raiders going against the Philadelphia Eagles on the road, I still see the Philadelphia Eagles being a huge favorite over us. And overall, I don't think we're going to beat them. I don't think Kenny Pickett is going to get the upset victory over them. Now, at the end of the day, though, it is the NFL. Anything can happen. And I would not be shocked if with Kenny Pickett, maybe it sparks the offense a little bit. I mean, we've seen it a lot of times throughout the NFL where a backup quarterback gets a start and all of a sudden he balls out. And then eventually he kind of comes back to life. That could be a possibility with Kenny Pickett. And I feel like if Geno Smith was out there, especially against this Philadelphia Eagles defensive line, overall, they do a pretty good job getting after the quarterback. And I just feel like this season, I don't know what it is with Geno Smith. I don't know if he's been dealing with some type of injury besides the shoulder injury, because I feel like in years past with Seattle, I've seen him be more mobile. To me, he has looked more athletic in previous seasons. Shoot, I remember week 1 last season when he played the Denver Broncos, he had like a 25-yard rushing touchdown where he looked pretty explosive on that play, and I just really haven't seen anything close to that this season with the Las Vegas Raiders. So I think from just like a mobility standpoint, having Kenny Pickett out there this week should help the Raiders offense potentially decrease some sacks, as Geno Smith just hasn't looked that mobile this season, and just a lot of times he's holding on to the football way too long. But overall, I still see Philadelphia being the big favorite. Now, obviously, it's the NFL. Anything could happen. They have lost 3 straight games. They are not going through a good moment right now. Jalen Hurts and that offense have not been the same at all. He just came off of a 4-interception performance. But at the same time, I mean, you can make the argument that the Philadelphia Eagles, they are probably looking at this opportunity against the Raiders as a perfect opportunity to beat the brakes off of this team. And just a great opportunity for them to just kind of get back into the win column and restore some confidence and morale into that football team. So I definitely, at least this week, I don't really see much of a difference. But I will say, depending on the severity of Geno Smith's shoulder injury, I think that definitely could ruin our chances of securing that top draft pick. Now, I will say, after Philadelphia, we go on the road once again against the Houston Texans. I also see that game being a loss, especially with that Houston Texans defense. You saw last week that they made that Kansas City Chiefs offense look terrible. They made their life a living hell last week. So I feel like for sure these next 2 weeks we are going to lose. But the biggest question mark will be that week 17 matchup against the New York Giants. To me, that is going to be the ultimate tank bowl. And that's where I would like to see Geno Smith out there. I feel like having Kenny Pickett at the quarterback position could give us a little bit more of a chance to win that game. And that could definitely be like a 50-50 pick'em type of game, which scares me a little bit just because the current way the NFL draft standings are right now, the Raiders have the number 2 overall pick at a 2-11 overall record. Giants have the same record, but they have the tiebreaker over us due to a strength of schedule. And if the Raiders were to win that game, and let's say the Tennessee Titans lose out, the Raiders are not going to be in the top 2. And also too, the Cleveland Browns have 3 wins, and same thing with the New Orleans Saints, and they all have a weaker strength of schedule than us, so they would hold a tiebreaker over us. So you could definitely get into a scenario where if the Raiders just win 1 game, they could fall from number 2 overall potentially to number 5, somewhere in that range, and that would definitely scare me. I mean, it's still a high draft pick, but I feel like this year in the NFL draft, if they were to target a quarterback, to me this is kind of like a top heavy quarterback draft class. And I would just hate for this to be another scenario where the Raiders just barely miss out on that top pick due to a victory late in the season where, let's be honest, to me at this point it's meaningless, especially since, you know, I don't think Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, and probably a good amount of these players aren't even going to be here next season. So that is the only thing that scares me about this whole Geno Smith situation with his injury. How bad is it? Now, I will say Pete Carroll seems like the guy that he's been super loyal to Geno. I don't think he's going to bench him if he doesn't have to, if it's not like an injury related type of situation. So hopefully if it's not too big of an injury, maybe Geno Smith will just miss 1 game and then he'll go back out there week 16 against the Houston Texans and closes out the season. We'll just have to see what happens there. Ultimately, there's 4 games left for the Raiders. I think they're definitely going to lose 3 of them. I think they'll lose to Philly, Houston, and there's a good chance we'll lose to Kansas City in the last game of the season, especially if there's still a scenario where they could possibly sneak into the wild card, potentially make the playoffs. They're going to have to win out. And if they still have some life going into week 18, I think they would for sure beat us. The only question mark I have is, like I said, that week 17 matchup against the New York Giants. But we'll just see what happens overall. Keep an eye on the injury status of Geno Smith moving forward. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below of this whole Geno Smith situation. Do you think he should be out there? Do you think he gives us the best chance to tank for a top draft pick? Or are you happy with the news? Would you rather see somebody else play at the quarterback position in these final 4 games of the regular season? Let me know in that comment section down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that is all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.